This video from Cassia Help, we're taking a look at the hospitality VAT rate cut and the implication for your cash register and particularly your reports. So in this video we're looking at the model we've got out is the SRC 550. I'm not going to get too technical with it, I'm just going to talk you through the key things to bear in mind before you start trying to reprogram your machine. So obviously if we take a look at the VAT cut and look how it's unusual, the first thing is the short space of time. Normally when they cut the VAT or increase the VAT, you get a decent amount of time to adjust for it. Obviously this time we're looking at a 1 week turnaround before it comes into place. The second thing is it's obviously a dramatic cut, so you're going from 20% to 5%. And the other thing to be careful about is, and this in a way this is the most critical thing, it's the products it's affecting. So it does not include alcohol sales, they'll still remain at 20%. It's affecting all eating, so if you're a restaurant it applies to you. Hot food takeaway, so if you're doing takeaways, hot and cold food, it's critical to make sure that your products are split out. And then also soft drinks as well, particularly relevant for restaurants and pubs. So what it basically means is you've got to be, you should be anyway, you should be diligent about how you're splitting your sales out. So you've got to make sure you've got, if you're not having individual departments, then certainly you should have different tax groupings for these sorts of products. So cold food, hot food, eating, takeout, alcohol. You don't necessarily need the cash register to compute the VAT for you. What is crucial and what your accountant will want you to do is to have these totals split out. So I'm going to show you how I would do it on this machine, but just bear in mind, big disclaimer, every cash register is different, and also it's quite possible that you to have this machine here and have it set up in a totally different way. So you may need to go back to your cash register dealer if you have one. They'll be able to advise accordingly. Also speak to your accountant. But if you program the machine yourself, then you'll obviously need to check out online resources. So if we look at this machine, first of all, it's basically a machine for a small pub. So we've got alcohol sales over here. So there's all my beers. There's some split drinks, so mixers. So they should be in a different category, and then I've got food over here as well. So I've got a lot of different products on there that are all affected or not affected but need to be separated out on my end of day reports or my quarterly reports. So if we go to the programming of the machine, there's two areas to look at. The first thing I'm going to look at is my tax settings. Just have a quick look on the machine and refresh my mind. Have I got the tax programmed in, and if so, is it programmed in correctly? Down to tax setting, cash amount 10 to enter. The key one here is rate, and I've got 20% and 5% set up already. So tax rate 1, the key thing to look at here, tax rate 1 is 20%, tax rate 2 is 5%. So I've already got a 5% rate set up, which is handy, because obviously in theory all I should need to do is change all my products that are affected by the VAT rate change. So on this one it would be my food that's eaten and then any soft drinks, whilst I leave all my alcohol sales at 20%. So all I've got to remember is tax rate 1 is 20, tax rate 2 is 5. Obviously if you look on your machine and it's different, then don't worry, keep watching this video because it will make sense by the end. But we'll also post different videos on different registers and also how you might have yours set up. So if we now come out of there by pressing subtotal, and then we're looking in the PLU setting on this machine, again depending on how yours has been programmed, it might be department setting that you're looking in, but this machine I've got all these set up as PLUs. So if I took a look at Foster's half, I'm expecting that to be tax rate 1 because that's at 20% and that's still correct. So I can come out of there. Let's find, so soft bottles, that must be a soft drink of some description. So that now I want to move that into tax rate 2 because obviously I've just seen that that's at 5% and that's affected by the new rate. So go into there, change it to 2. So you can see the mechanics of actually doing it, the technicality of doing it is actually relatively straightforward. The key thing is understanding why you're doing what you're doing. So sit back, have a think about the products that are affected by this, and also the timing of it, because it's not coming into place till a week today, I believe. So we changed that one, so we could go up to cordial, and again pop that into tax 2. Ooh. I'm not going to do them all, I'm just showing you how it would work if you were to do them all. And then I'm just going to go down and have a look at some of the food items. There we are. So let's say starters £7. I'm expecting that to be in tax rate 1, and I'm going to want to change it into tax rate 2. It is. So even if you haven't got tax rates set up on the machine, so if you went into the tax settings and they all said 0, it doesn't matter. You don't have to change them. The key thing is this will give you a separate report, separate total on the report, so you can split out. Or even if your alcohol sales were all in TS1 and that wasn't set to 20%, it was set to 0, it doesn't matter, because it's going to give you a separate line on the report, which is all your accountant's going to be interested in. But while I'm here, I'm going to change this one to tax 2. I'll come out and I'll just show you what I'm going on about by ringing through a couple of sales and then doing a report. So obviously key back to reg. That must be an open button. So sell some food, sell some drink. This is actually good. I think you've got more than 4 tax rates on here, so you can go, you can use as many as you need to. And then if we do, say, an X reading, just to see how we're doing during the day. So I don't know if you see on the camera, I'm just waiting for it to finish off. There we go. So I've got all my sales splits anyway, cash in draw and all that sort of thing, but this is the key bit of information now. We've got TA1, so TA stands for taxable amount. So that's the amount of sales that went through the tax 1 category, so that's my alcohol sales effectively on this machine, and that is the tax amount of them. So it's 131.13 without tax, and that gave rise to tax of 26.22. And then TA2 is now my 5% stuff, which gave rise to that tax amount. But if this machine was set to 0 and 0, you'd still have the breakdown. You'd still be able to turn around and say, well, I've done TA1 total and TA2 total. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. But basically, there's no need to panic. Have a think about what products it affects. We're going to post more videos going into a bit more detail over the coming week about how you might change your machine up and split your items out if they're not already split out, because you can obviously split them out by tax but also by department as well. So subscribe to the channel and keep an eye out for the videos to do with the tax rate changes. And yeah, thanks very much for watching.